Good morning. It's Wednesday today, and Wednesday is the beginning of my work week. So it's kind of like Mondays for most people, is when I get back to work. So I'm off on Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday, and then get back to work on Wednesday. It's still early, only 6:30. Still dark outside, bit cold, I'm sure. I want to talk today about productivity and having a productivity hack. Um, over the last 3 days or so, the weekend, I had a bunch of plans to do certain things, complete tasks, be productive. Um, I think, I'm sorry to say that I spent almost as much time not being productive as I have been productive. And when I say not being productive, I mean watching movies. Um, so I would love to talk about which movies I watched. I like action movies, but that's not what it's about today. It's about how to be productive. So um, I want to talk about my productivity hack because you have to get started somewhere. So, so first question you should ask yourself in order to think about being productive is who or what is your time thief in your life. We have time thieves. Time is extremely valuable. You only have a limited time during the day. So who is your time thief? I think the culprit with this, in terms of your time thief, it's you. Obviously, you're the one who decides where your time goes, and you are the culprit, or I am the culprit of my time, and I have to take responsibility. I want to remind you of the book uh, Extreme Extreme Ownership and Taking Responsibility of Your Mistakes. And so the time thief in your life is you. You decide where to spend your time. And so since you are the culprit, you are the time thief in your life, what is the best way to spend your weekend is the next question. How do you best spend your weekend? It's a big question. But before I continue with the answer, for me personally, I want to tell you about my one thing that I've I've done this weekend. I talked to my girlfriend. It was Monday. Actually, I talked to her on Sunday. She said there was a winter there was a test, uh, semester test, um, that she's a teacher, so she is giving a test for her students on Sunday, and then she asked me to give her a call back on Monday because she has a 2 week vacation for winter, and so I did call her back on Monday, and she was busy at the time because she was in a meeting, and so I mean, she has its 2 week break, and I ended up calling her right after the test. So she was busy probably helping some students, and I felt a little unfortunate. Unfortunate. It was an unfortunate event because she has all this time that um, she can use to relax and we can have a conversation. Um, but again, this is like we can always find like time thieves. Like no matter what, no matter how long the vacations, there's ways that your time can be stolen. So that's just one example. I will at least like for her credit, at least she picked up and then she told me she's with company right now, and she asked me to give her a call back that day or the next day. I decided to wait until Sunday. Just I don't know how busy she's gonna be, so I decided to give her a call back on Sunday on the weekends because that's when I usually call her, and assuming she would not be busy during the weekend because she's a teacher. Even it looks like even when she's on break, she's busy. So at least like she answer the phone and then let me know. But I hope to give her a call this Sunday when I'll be off, and then she'll be off as well, and we can have a great chit chat. Um, so as far as me, my productivity problem, so I make plans at the like during my days off. I make plans to be productive, uh, to spend my time a certain way so that it doesn't get wasted. And then I end up being steered away from my plans by trying like watching movies. I can show you right. Like you can see the TV. It's right in my face. So I end up watching movies, uh, doing unproductive things, watching YouTube or things like that. That is not productive. And I do that one because not even when I have other things to do, I end up being veered away from my tasks and responsibilities. Or two, I end up finishing the tasks and now I have some free time that I end up spending watching movies and doing other things. Uh, you might have like Game Boy, PlayStation, and PC games, and then instead of being productive, you spend your time doing that, which I feel is really bad because you're preemptive, preemptive, preemptively uh, setting time from your day to do something unproductive. Either way, it still ends up being the same because it's watching movies is such such a waste of time. But like at least playing games and things like that, you're actively participating. But at the end of the day, I think they're both like a waste of time. So the moral of my story is that watching movies or playing games doesn't count as studying, and we should be spending our time sharpening the blades, like they say, you know, if the goal is to um, cut down a tree. Like there's a story. There's two guys. One guy is they're both trying to cut a tree down. Um, One guy just keeps on trying to cut a tree down with a dull axe, and the other guy he spends the a long time sharpening the axe, and then he cuts down the tree much faster. So when we have we're trying to be productive, we should do the act itself, like cutting down the tree. Do that if that's the goal, to cut down the tree, or sharpen the axe. And the way we sharpen the axe in terms of real life being productive is by studying. And watching a movie does not count as sharpening the axe. It does not count as studying. Playing games does not count as studying. It does not count as sharpening your axe, getting better in life, in your studies. In order to sharpen the axe, in order to get better at studying, and to get better at your job, your business, you actually have to read, or you can listen to audiobooks. Uh, YouTube is a great source of studying as well, but it's also a great source of disruption. It's like it's a huge pool of content, and honestly, most of it, the majority of it, is going to be a distraction because the goal is to steal your time. So instead, what you should be doing is reading and listening to audiobooks and taking notes and being very frugal with your time. Also, another productivity hack that I wish I used, and I think that everyone should use, is just on top of that. Okay, the point is to read and listen to audiobooks, but the best thing also is to do it early in the morning, so that you can set the direction for the rest of the day. I know I talked about going to the gym. I know I talked about being productive, creating video content, but even before that, you can take time to read, study, and set the direction for your day by influencing your heart. And also, like, go back towards reading throughout the day as well, because reading and consuming healthy content from reading will not only set the stage for you in the morning, but also throughout the day as well. One book that I'm talking about, like, is the Bible. I don't have the actual physical Bible in my home, but I do have this book here. It's called. It says, "Prayer, Prayers and Promises for Men." So, and it's like 70 verses, 70 phrases, right? It says here, it has 70 phrases. For example, abandonment, acceptance, adoption, anxiety, and it like talks about how the Bible talks about those things, and it gives you a verse and a prayer as well. And it's just a good way to set the direction for the rest of the day. And also, one book that I'm also listening to audiobooks. One audiobook that I'm listening to, it's called Meditation on the Psalms by C.S. Lewis. Let me just yeah, the C.S. Lewis, great writer. He wrote the Book of Narnia, and he's a great Christian writer. And listening to great Christian writers like C.S. Lewis on Audible is just a great way to get started. And then of course you have your task for the day as well. Go to the gym, do the work, write notes, keep studying, complete your task, hit the checklist. So do all those things, but start with the inspiration. So I think the Bible is a great inspiration if you have the Bible, or you can get like a something like this, like a great book that takes all inspired by the Bible, and other books like written by C.S. Lewis or other Christian writers. There's other great Christian pastors that you can even read books written by pastors. Joel Osteen, another great pastor. I would recommend reading his books instead of just watching the videos. So that's one great source of inspiration, great checklist you should include in your mornings and throughout the day as well, instead of wasting your time watching movies. By the way, I had a dream, I think it was last night, where I dreamed about breaking my FAP, and I didn't break my FAP. That's another waste that you want to watch out for. And but I didn't break my FAP, and I'm right now on day 28 of NoFap. So if you're not careful about spending your time wisely, it's easy. Even if you like, yes, you can watch movies and things like that, but that's a great way, really bad way to break your FAP, and then you end up doing things like fapping and watching porn and things like that. So be careful about how you spend your time. When you're not careful about how you spend your time, you can easily be led astray. And I haven't had the urge to do that, because everything else in my life is just going so good. I only had like this one weakness of being distracted by watching movies and things like that. And so if you're not careful, that can escalate towards wasting your time even more. So with fapping, even if it is a short period of time, it's a huge waste of time, and it affects your hormone things like that, and self-confidence and shame and things like that. So in order to keep that from happening, I think it's really, this advice is really important, and the Bible is completely against fapping. So, and that's why it's a good way to start off your day, and then throughout the day as well. So thank you for watching this movie, and if you stayed all the way to this point, I love you. Please hit the like button down below, and also leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of video you'd like me to release. Also hit the subscribe button. and let YouTube know that this is the kind of content you like to uh, keep watching. And remember to do the hard thing, especially when you don't feel like it.